Marshall! Ah! Never!
Jesus! What the is happening in this family, dude? These people have children, man. What the All right. Husband doesn't realize his crime was caught on CCTV.
2022, 49-year-old Kimberly Malacone was a devoted mother, a dedicated businesswoman, and an active member of the community. And at least on the surface, she and her husband Matthew were happily married. In mid-July, family, friends, and co-workers lavished Kimberly with praise and affection. But sadly, many of these poignant statements ended up in her obituary. Matthew Malacone was eventually arrested and charged with her murder, but ironically, investigators knew that another man had fired the bullet that actually killed her.
Hold up. Hold up.
Before we begin, we would like to express our sincere condolences to the Malacone family for their loss.
Is there a twist?
It's unclear how Kimberly and Matthew met or when they got married, but by 2022 they had been together more than a decade. At that point, they had a beautiful home, a thriving...
Let me guess. Okay. I'm going to call it right now. This is going to be one of those situations where they wanted a divorce. They wanted to break up with the wife. And instead of getting a divorce, he decided, let's murder her. Right? That's probably what's going to happen. I'm just assuming. That's always what happens in these.
Business and 3 wonderful children. Kimberly had lots of interests, but taking care of her kids was her biggest priority. She was also passionate about helping recovering addicts get clean and sober. She had recently taken up yoga as well. The Malacones lived in Washington Township, Michigan, about 35 miles or 56 kilometers north of downtown Detroit. In many aspects, they were the typical suburban family. But according to Matthew, Kimberly began an affair with a man named
Oh, yep. Okay. There it is.
Daniel Giannone, all the way back in 2013.
This guy and my wife have been having an affair for 9.5 years.
9.5 years, bro? Damn. But also, just get a divorce. You don't got to kill her.
How did this start? Do you have any idea?
They met at a bar somewhere on her 40th birthday. And then I found out when she was 43.
Matthew said Kimberly met Daniel at a bar on her 40th birthday. He eventually found out about the affair, but he was under the impression that Kimberly had broken it off and that she and Daniel no longer had any contact with each other.
Oh,
but
no.
in the summer of 2020,
Once a cheater, always a cheater. Everyone, take this advice to heart. If anyone ever cheats on you in a relationship, dump them. Leave them now, because it'll happen in the future. It'll always happen again, or it'll continue to happen. Every single time. I don't think I've ever seen a relationship where someone cheats on someone and then they never do it again. It always happens. Always.
2022, a friend told Matthew that Kimberly and Daniel were seeing each other once again.
I found out about it 6.5 years ago. And I found out about it again 45 days ago.
Fuck?
And I said to her, "Is it over with?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "Well, so how did the last conversation go? How'd you end it?" And she didn't. I said, "So you didn't end it. So it's the same as last time. You still, it's not ended. You guys didn't break up."
God, how would you stay with someone like that, though? I mean, to be fair, this guy might be the murderer. I don't know. But, like, why would you stay with someone who is, like, consistently cheating on you, consistently having an affair, even when you ask them over and over to break up with the person? Like, no, I didn't. Like, what?
So this guy's going to call you in a month? And she said, "You want me to break up with him?" I said, "That sounds about right." She goes, "Let's go." So we hopped in the car, went back to his house.
Matthew was understandably upset, and his relationship with his wife became increasingly strained. He repeatedly asked Kimberly if she planned on ending the affair, but she was so non-committal that he eventually realized she had no intention of saying goodbye to her secret lover. By July the 11th, the tension in the Malacone home was so unbearable that Kimberly called her friend, Anne-Marie Delegue, to see if she could offer her some helpful advice.
God damn it, dude. Normalize divorce. Oh my God. I mean, I know divorce is normalized, but it's stigmatized when it shouldn't. Like, divorce should be like a good thing. Like, holy fuck, just get divorced. Like, this is painful.
Kimberly told Anne-Marie that she was physically and emotionally exhausted. She also said that Matthew didn't come home the previous night, that he finally showed up around 5 a.m., and she thought he had been smoking crack cocaine. Things came to a head on Tuesday, July the 12th, 2022, when Matthew confronted Kimberly about the affair once again. They
also normalize not rushing into marriage. That's another thing. 100%.
They argued about it for hours, and according to Matthew, they were drinking alcohol, smoking marijuana, and snorting cocaine all day. The combination of
Bro, honestly, like, you caused the emotional exhaustion. Someone in chat said that. You know what I mean? Like,
raw emotions and controlled substances turned the already tense situation into a powder keg, and by late that afternoon, Kimberly was at her wit's end. To resolve the situation once and for all, she suggested they drive to Daniel's house so Matthew could witness her end the relationship. She also thought his presence would give her much-needed moral support. But it is unclear if they considered the possibility that the situation might spiral out of control because they showed up unannounced and in such an inherently confrontational way. Whatever the case, they were finally ready to leave around 8:45 p.m.
Did they show up and the dude just killed her or something?
But Matthew made a fateful decision just before he got into their white Jeep Cherokee. He took a handgun from his gun safe and stuck it down in his waistband. We'll never know if Kimberly knew about the gun, but she got in the driver's seat and Matthew slipped into the passenger seat beside her. It is just speculation, but Kimberly may have decided to drive because she knew Matthew was carrying a weapon. Either way, they arrived at Daniel Giannone's home.
Wait, did they plan to kill him? Wait, what?
On North Avenue in Ray Township, around 8 miles or 13 kilometers away at approximately 9.
Imagine your girlfriend and her husband showing up at your house unannounced. Yeah, I wonder if this dude even knows. I assume he knows.
30 p.m.
Oh.
Kimberly turned left into the driveway and proceeded towards the home that Daniel shared with his fiancée and their kids.
What? Fiancé and kids? Dude. How fucking horrible are you people? How terrible are you people? Oh my God. Wow. Wow, I hate everyone. Wow. Fucking horrible people.
At the time, Daniel was outside near the garage eating and cleaning up after an all-day cookout. When Kimberly brought the Cherokee to a stop, Matthew got out, approached Daniel in a threatening manner, and pulled out his gun. They began arguing immediately, and a few seconds later, Daniel pulled out his own handgun and fired a warning shot into the air over Matthew's head.
And she screams at him, "Danny!" And I said, "Stop with my wife."
Get out of here, bro. No. Get out of here.
Danny.
I'll blow
Danny.
Get out of here.
Danny.
I'll blow
Stop it.
Stay away from my wife!
Stop it.
What are you here for?
Stay away from my wife!
I don't even know what the
As Matthew backpedaled away, Daniel ran across the driveway and around the front of the house.
He definitely, Matthew came there to kill him. I'm pretty sure. Matthew came there to, like, either scare the shit out of him or kill him, one of the two.
As he was about to turn the corner, a home security camera near the front door captured Matthew as he stopped, aimed his pistol, and fired at Daniel multiple times as if he was a well-trained soldier or law enforcement officer.
Jeez.
Stop it, man.
One bullet struck Daniel in the leg, but he continued running and eventually got another weapon from a vehicle that was parked in his garage.
Sasha! Ah! Never!
Jesus. What the fuck is happening in this family, dude? These people have children, man. What the fuck?
While the shootout was in progress, Daniel's fiancée and children cowered inside the home in sheer terror. Once Daniel had the second weapon,
dude, that's the fucking crazy part. Like, the kids and the fiancé, they might have absolutely no fucking clue. I mean, the kids obviously have no clue, but the fiancé as well. Like, what if they have no idea what's going on and they just think random people are walking up and trying to kill them? You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck?
Continued running around the house and eventually ended up back at the front of the garage where the incident had started. At that point, Matthew yelled for Kimberly to get back in the Jeep, and she began backing out of the driveway shortly thereafter.
Stop it, man. Dad,
Who
stop
else
it.
has a gun here?
Man, stop it.
Get out of here. Let's go. Who else has a gun
What
here?
do you do?
Let's go.
Yeah, where's the kid? Where's the kid? Where's the kid?
Get out of here.
Just get divorced? What the fuck? Yeah.
By then, it appeared that the gunfight was over, but Matthew rolled down the passenger side window and fired another shot at Daniel just as the Jeep reached the end of the driveway. He returned fire in a fraction of a second, and one of his rounds struck Kimberly in the neck. Daniel's sister, who lived next door, made the 911 call.
Let's go.
What the fuck, dude?
Yeah, where's the kid? The car is a white. It's a white Grand Cherokee. My kids are here. Where are you? Here right now. Somebody just came shooting in my house.
What's the address?
Somebody just.
So it wasn't even intentional? No, it was just a shootout. Just straight up shootout. And he accidentally hit her in the neck.
Avenue. The car is. Yes.
Hello?
I need officers. I need somebody here right now. Somebody just
What
came
the
shooting in my
fuck?
house.
What's the address?
Somebody just. North Avenue. The car is a white.
Listen, hold on.
What did I miss a lot?
Listen, North Avenue.
Long story short, wife is cheating on husband for many years, and she's cheating on her husband with someone who has a fiance and kids, and they have kids as well. And then the husband and wife went over to confront the affair guy and the fiance, and then they got in a shootout. And then the wife accidentally got hit in the throat with the bullet.
North Avenue.
Who's shooting?
North Avenue. Somebody's shooting at the house.
At your. Listen.
Yes.
At your house. Is anyone
I have the
hit?
kids. I have my brother's head. I have my kids.
How many
over.
people got hit? How many? Listen. How many people got hit?
My brother's head.
Where's he hit at?
And his leg.
Okay, they're
He
still.
came here
Okay,
shooting at brother.
listen. Are they inside your house or are they in the white Cherokee?
White Cherokee's pulling out now.
Okay, which way is it
Please find
going?
somebody immediately.
Matthew made a frantic second 911 call from the end of the driveway shortly thereafter. He told the operator that a man had just shot his wife and that she was unresponsive and needed an ambulance.
Pull out a gun.
Okay, what is the
My
address?
wife's been shot.
Okay.
My wife's been shot.
Okay.
On North Avenue, just south of 29 miles.
The shootout lasted less than 2 minutes, and
Wow.
police arrived on the scene just minutes after the 911 calls were made.
The husband shot the wife? No. The husband shot outside the window, and then the affair guy shot back at them, and then a stray bullet hit her in the throat when he was trying to shoot back at him. So if the husband never rolled down the window and shot at the dude, then he probably wouldn't have shot back, and she wouldn't have died.
However, they couldn't help Kimberly until the area was secured, and at that point,
Think it's the other way around? No, the husband did not shoot her. 100%. I can literally go back. The husband rolled down the window when he pulled out.
Get out of here.
by then it appeared that the gunfight was over, but
Ready?
Matthew rolled down the passenger side window and fired another shot at Daniel just as the Jeep reached the end of the driveway.
And
He
then-
returned fire in a fraction of a second, and one of his rounds struck Kimberly in
Daniel's rounds hit Kimberly by accident when he was trying to shoot at Matthew.
the neck.
I was right. Wow. It's almost like I listened to the video this time and chat's wrong. Yeah, get fucked.
Just minutes after the 911 calls were made. However, they couldn't
These idiots are allowed to have guns, yeah.
help Kimberly until the area was
Don't
secured.
say that, I'll get canceled.
And at that point, they didn't know how many
ahead, cancel
gunmen
me.
there were or if there
Go
was
ahead.
going to be
Okay,
more
go ahead,
shooting.
cancel me.
Sheriff what? Sheriff what? Over your hands. On the ground, on the ground. On the ground.
You need some fucking hands?
To make sure there were no more gunmen on the loose, they used a loudspeaker to order everyone out of Daniel's home, as well as the house next door where his parents and sister lived.
He's in the Florida. Right now he's in the Florida. He said, what's the shot? You need to stop palanca for my boy. I'm his father. He's in the Florida right now. They shot in the leg. The mother...
Florida?
Don't fight it. Lock it up for the son of my here.
That makes sense.
The festa here. What? Yeah, coming over. Why aren't you coming over here? My son is in the floor.
Ma che cazzo vuoi? Daniela va a chiedere fuori, con mamma.
Sì, tu.
Ma che due?
Can I come out with my children?
Damn it, you're going to be
Oh, yeah.
He's so Italian, he even has his mom there.
Hands off.
I think you said that, right?
You don't want to know.
Officers began searching and securing the homes as soon as everyone was out. Daniel eventually emerged on a stretcher and Matthew was taken into custody. But sadly, Kimberly died at the scene. When the smoke had finally cleared, investigators
What a
began
bunch
piecing
of
together
idiots,
the
dude.
series of events which led to the fatal gunfight in a suburban neighborhood on what should have just been another boring Tuesday night. They eventually collected 30 shell casings from 3 different weapons.
Oh my God.
And unsurprisingly, Daniel's home was riddled with bullet holes. There were still tons of unanswered questions, but investigators got a big break when they realized that the most recent incident was captured on Daniel's home security system. Later, investigators found drugs, drug paraphernalia, and a gun safe full of firearms while searching the home Matthew and Kimberly Malacone once shared.
What a
During a
surprise.
multi-hour interview at the police
What a
station,
surprise.
Matthew gave the investigator his version of how things played out that night.
Here's the garage. There's I think a couple like cars here.
I'm just going to say it real quick. Go ahead, cancel me. I'm going to say it. Matthew and his wife has an entire safe of a buttload of different guns. Daniel not only shot at him, but he went around and grabbed another gun from a different area of his house. 2 people should not have the ability to have an entire firefight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy. Like, 2 families should not have the firepower to have a fucking firefight in the middle of a suburban area. Like, wow.
I think there's another car here, like this. And we pull up. Her and I get out of the car. As soon as I get out of the car, he comes out of the garage like this, like a police officer, right at my face. And I put my hands up. And I say, whoa, bro. I ducked around to the back of this car here. And I pulled my firearm and I started shooting at him. He ran this way. I said, Kim, get in the car. We got in the car. We were backing out. He shot my wife.
We're stomping on the gas.
When Kim was shot, she fell over to the side. He's shooting at us at this point. I hop from the passenger into the driver, turn it, and it won't go. I got it, and I'm like this, you know?
Dude, he's telling this like this is like a war story that he's proud of. You got the car, right? And I'll slam it. Man, I was going as fast as I could, right? All right? I was going right there. I just pull it out like this, like a fucking police officer, right? I open fire, right? Don't even care. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is this shit? The way he's telling this story is like he's telling a fucking war story that he's proud of. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he thinks he's a fucking action hero with this shit. What a fucking loser.
And it won't go. So then finally I put it in park and I get out and I go behind the vehicle and that's where I called you. I said, stop with my wife or something. And as soon as I finished wife, bam. He shot one right, whizzed by my head. Then my wife yells, Danny! Like, I could see what her thinking he's gonna kill her husband. And he looked over, and that's all I needed, man. I got behind that car, I grabbed my firearm, I came over the hood, and I just started shooting.
That's all I needed, man. You know, I just fucking got down in my position, pulled out my fucking pistol. Get on the ground! Get on the ground! Fucking started shooting, bro. Don't even give a fuck. Like, what is this shit? This is embarrassing, bro. You're telling a tragic story about how your fucking wife died, and you're talking to him like you're an action hero. Like, this is disgusting. He's been waiting for an excuse to do this 100%. 1,000%, actually, yes.
And he scurried towards the front of the house. I didn't go after him. I said, Kim, get in the car, let's go.
He also said that he was glad the incident was captured on camera and that he was no longer angry about his wife's affair and that he didn't go to Daniel's house to start a fight or to shoot him.
The cameras.
Okay, there you go. Beautiful. We got cameras. He's got cameras? Does he?
I can't tell you all that.
Well, I hope he does. You better, you'll look for those, correct?
We gather all the facts.
Okay, good.
Everybody's got a story, right, to tell.
I hope he's got cameras.
He's probably glad she's dead. What a piece of shit. He's just mad he didn't kill him. That's the only reason upset. He's just mad he didn't kill the other guy. I don't really think he gives a shit about his wife, to be honest.
Let's be honest here for a second, Matt. Like, you're pissed.
No.
You weren't mad. Some guy's boinking your wife.
Detective, listen.
And you're not mad about it?
Bro said boinking? No way. No way. Yo, TO5, thanks for the prime. He used the term boinking your wife in a fucking crime investigation? Dude.
You weren't mad. Some guy's boinking your wife.
Detective, listen.
And you're not mad about it?
I've known about this for 6.5 years.
Right.
I was mad.
And you were told it was cut off, right?
No.
And then today you're told it's not cut off.
45 days ago I was told it's not cut off.
He also admitted that he and Kimberly were drinking alcohol and using drugs that day.
Yeah, I trust her. And then that's when we got into the conversation, I guess today. I said, so how did you break it off? Oh, you never broke it off. You haven't seen him since February. You never told him, get lost, stop contacting me, we're breaking up.
Yeah.
Thing. And she goes, no. I said, so what? You're just going to wait around for him to call again? Because he'll do that, just like he has been. And she goes, well, that makes sense. She goes, I'll break it off. And I said, all right. She goes, let's go now.
Daniel Giannone wasn't taken into custody or charged with any crime because he, his fiancée, and their children were minding their business on their own property the night the Malacones showed up.
That's true.
When Matthew pulled out a gun, he was well within his rights to protect himself and his family. Matthew was released later that night, and at least initially, it wasn't clear if he'd ever be charged with any crime. But he was arrested a few days later and charged with killing his wife, even though Daniel had fired the bullet that actually killed her. Matthew was also charged with carrying a weapon with unlawful intent, assault with a dangerous weapon, and the attempted murder of 36-year-old
All deserved.
Daniel Giannone. If convicted,
Like, just get a divorce. Just get a divorce. It's not that hard. Like, you stayed with the girl who was cheating on you for 9 fucking years. 9 years. Unless you're a cuck, just get a divorce. So unintentionally killed his wife. He caused the killing of his wife, basically.
convicted on all the charges, he faced the prospect of spending the rest of his life in prison. Matthew's arraignment was particularly tense because a number of his supporters were sitting just a stone's throw away from Kimberly's distraught loved ones. His attorney told the district court judge Jennifer Andery that he should be released on bail because he had 3 children who needed him more than ever. He also reminded the court that his client had no criminal history and that he was not a threat to the community. But Judge Andery wasn't so sure. According to her, the allegations of domestic abuse had been made against Matthew before, and footage of...
You want to know? It's going to be a hot take. It's going to be a really hot take, right? If Daniel, he didn't have a gun, no one would have died. Hot take. If Daniel didn't have a gun, no one would have died. Because Matthew went over there. First thing he said is stay the fuck away from my wife. That's all he said. He said, stay the fuck away from my wife. He went over there to scare him. He wasn't planning on killing anybody. He was going over there to scare the dude to keep him away from his wife. So if Danny didn't break out the gun, didn't bring the gun, because I know, people are like, there's going to be people like, oh, thank God Daniel had a gun, right? Thank God Daniel had a gun because he was able to make sure nothing bad happened. He's able to protect his home, right? If Daniel didn't have a gun, no one would have gotten hurt. There would not have been a single gunfire whatsoever. 100%. Just saying. Now, obviously, there's different situations, but in this particular situation, I don't think anyone would have died. I'm not blaming Daniel or anything. I'm just saying, fighting fire with fire is not the answer,
of the incident clearly showed that the charges had merit. But perhaps most damningly of all, Judge Andery said that members of the community had reached out to her to let the court know that they...
To be fair, you were dumb going to the guy's house to scare him, but yeah, that's my point, is Matthew's the dumb one, right? Matthew's the idiot for going over there with a fucking gun in the first place. He shouldn't have went over there in the first place. I'm just saying that I don't think Daniel bringing out a gun made the situation better. It made the situation 100 times worse, right? But, it is what it is.
They would fear for their own safety and the safety of their families if Matthew was released. Unsurprisingly, she ordered Matthew to be held in the Macomb County Jail without bail until the end of his trial. The trial didn't begin until July of 2024, almost 2 full years after Kimberly Malone.
Neither of them should have had guns. Yes, obviously. That's kind of what I'm leading to. But I'm also leading to the concept of fighting fire with fire because for some fucking reason, they believe in that shit and thinking that escalating situations is better than de-escalating situations. For some fucking reason, people think that works. But I'm kind of using that as a point. Escalating situations is not the answer to things, right?
Malicone's tragic death. Neither Matthew nor his attorneys could deny that he and Kimberly had instigated the shootout that resulted in her death. The only question was...
people should not be allowed to own as many guns as they want, you know what I mean? I don't know the law behind it. I know probably different states are different laws and shit, but dude had an entire safe of guns. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter because he only brought one gun, but it's whatever.
Whether mitigating circumstances relieved him of culpability. According to Assistant Macomb Prosecutor Steve Fox, Matthew was driven by his mental and emotional states, as well as the drugs and alcohol he had consumed the night before and the day of the incident. In addition, the prosecution intended to show that it wasn't just a crime.
They seem so tough when they pull out guns. Why can't they just challenge each other to a game of fisticuffs? Why can't they just punch each other? Why can't we go back to that time? Dude, remember when we watched European or different country car crash road rage videos? You never see anyone pull out a gun. You always see them get out and start fighting each other. They just start punching each other and tackling each other. Why can't we do that, bro? The reason it doesn't happen in America is because everyone has a gun. So anytime someone wants to fight or wants to get angry with someone, the other guy just pulls out a gun. It's are you fucking kidding me, dude? Is America that much of a pussy? Americans, are you guys pussies? You know what I mean? The people who preach the whole Second Amendment, my guns, I don't want them to take my guns. Are you a pussy? Huh? You can't handle a fight with me without a gun? Is that what you're saying, pussy? Fight me without a gun, pussy. Come on, put the gun away. You don't need a gun. Come on. What are you, pussy?
Of passion committed in the heat of the moment. In fact, they claimed Matthew had planned the act and that this proved premeditation. This was the crux of the case because the defense claimed that Matthew was motivated by jealousy and rage, and he had acted hastily and irrationally but without malice or forethought. Another point of contention was whether Kimberly's friend, Anne-Marie Delecki, would be allowed to testify about Matthew's drug use. Unfortunately for the prosecution, Circuit Judge Matthew Sabah ruled that she had no firsthand.
I don't know. I'm a woman, and I really don't think I could fight you. Should I say it? There's an alternative to guns. There's an alternative to guns, guys, called tasers, pepper spray. Shadow going there for 14 months. Any non-lethal bows and arrows. Yeah. Bows and arrows. Yeah. Nunchucks. There you go. Knives. Katanas, even. You know what I'm saying? There are different options.
And knowledge of Matthew Malacone's drug use. This made sense because she only knew what Kimberly had told her over the phone. In other words, her testimony.
Bows are very lethal. I know. It was a joke, bro. It was a joke. Kunai. You know? Some ninjutsu. Maybe some taijutsu. You know what I'm saying? Some genjutsu. Confuse your enemies.
Would be hearsay. Judge Sabah also ruled that it would be prejudicial to portray Matthew as an inherently bad person just because he used drugs. In addition, the prosecution failed to show a direct link between Matthew and the drugs found in his home, and it was never proven that he was under the influence of a controlled substance the day the alleged crimes were committed. As such, Matthew's alleged drug use was excluded during the trial. This was a big blow to the prosecution because he admitted to drinking and using drugs during his interview after the incident, as was the case with Matthew's arrest.
Why can't we do Yu-Gi-Oh battles? Like Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh battles get the dual disc? It's time to...
His trial was attended by family and friends with mixed loyalties. During the 8-day trial, spectators heard every uncomfortable and heartbreaking detail of Matthew and Kimberly's broken marriage, her affair with Daniel Giannone, and the events that ultimately led to her death. In the end, the jury found Matthew guilty of voluntary manslaughter, assault with intent to murder, and 3 additional felony firearm counts. Later, Judge Sabah sentenced him to 7 to 15 years for voluntary manslaughter, 12 to 40 years for assault with the intent to murder, and 2 years each for the 3 felony firearms counts.
Dude, what are with these sentences lately? Like the foot fetish guy got 20 years? This dude's like almost life?
Said nearly everyone was surprised when they learned that the sentences would run concurrently. This meant that Matthew could conceivably be released after serving just 12 years.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Macomb County Prosecutor Peter J.
I guess it's 12-240, but...
Cito and his team were satisfied that Matthew would be punished for his role in his wife's death and that her loved ones would finally get some modicum of closure. That said, they and Kimberly's loved ones thought the sentence was far too light considering the magnitude of the crime. If you found this story compelling, don't forget to like the video. Comment down below your take on it.
And this is just a bad case of fighting fire with fire. And also, just fucking divorce your wife. Just get divorced. Come on, guys. Divorce now. It's fun. Do it. Everyone's doing it. Come on.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.